Welcome back to Good Game Reviews. Here to do another game prediction. We are finally at week 9. We have the New England Patriots going to face the New York Jets. I'm going to go ahead and just start it off because neither one of these teams are looking too exciting. Might be an ugly match. Who knows? Patriots are sitting at 2-6. New York Jets, they're sitting at 0-8. Looking like a tank bowl situation. We don't know. But let's get into it. I'm going to start with the quarterbacks. As far as who has the advantage, I decided to go with the New England Patriots, mainly because I feel Cam Newton is able to do a little bit more than Sam Darnold or Joe Flacco. As far as Sam Darnold goes, it doesn't look like he might play this game. It just doesn't seem too likely that he plays. They have him listed as doubtful, and anytime somebody's listed as doubtful, it's kind of a throw it in the air situation where maybe he plays, maybe he doesn't. Most likely he doesn't. So they're going to probably lean on Joe Flacco, who isn't looking like the best option. I'm just being honest. He's far from his Ravens days where he looked like one of the better quarterbacks in the league. Kind of, I guess. But he's I'm sorry, but he's just not looking well as far as like his play, and the fact that he has to come behind Sam Darnold. I mean, I'm gonna let you decide on that, but I'm giving the advantage to Cam Newton. While yes, he does have 7 interceptions and only 2 passing touchdowns, he also has 6 running touchdowns. So, that just adds to, what he's able to do. As far as the running back room goes, I decided to go with the New England Patriots running back room. Mostly because Frank Gore, while he is pretty much the best option that the New York Jets have, he's only averaging 3.3 on the ground. No really impressive numbers that is coming out of that running back room as far as averaging yards on the ground. Everything below 3.5 it just doesn't look good. They're not able to run the ball well, and that could be attributed to the weaknesses that they have on the offensive line. Whatever the case is, they're just not good at running the ball. Isn't a strong suit of theirs. So on the opposite end, you have the Patriots, who do well at moving the ball on the ground and who are averaging, at the very least, 4.0 and above. So that means that as far as averaging on the ground, nothing lower than 4. Rex Burkhead, he is at the lowest, which is averaging 4.0 on the ground. And at the top, you have Damian Harris, who is averaging 5.7 on the ground. So while Damian Harris probably doesn't have as many rushing yards as Frank Gore, he has a better average on the ground, and you have to account for that in the game. As far as the wide receivers go, now interestingly enough, I don't know why I'm having a hard time saying that word, but I decided to go with the Jets on this one. The Patriots don't have a lot going on as far as wide receivers go. I know that the Patriots just acquired Isaiah Ford. They also brought someone in on the practice squad who was a former Jaguars, Moncrief. Not sure what they're doing with him. He's just on the practice squad, so I haven't heard any news about him being elevated. But that's just where he is right now. Isaiah Ford, he's been brought in. He was brought in during the trade deadline, so that's another wide receiver that they acquired. Jacoby Myers is coming up pretty good. He seems to be pretty much the best guy that they have out there on the field. So we have to see as far as consistency goes, because that was a problem that we had with our wide receivers as a whole last year, and it's pretty much been brought into this year as far as consistency. So we have to see what Jacoby Myers is able to do just going on forward. He's manageable. He's doing what he can. He's looking like the best guy out there, but it's still not enough. He's still not that guy that the Patriots want to rely on, somebody who's going to put up, like 100 receiving yards or something like that. They still don't have that particular guy. So while yes, we like Jacoby Myers, Demir Bird is serviceable. The introduction of Isaiah Ford looks promising, but we have to wait until we have the numbers to back it up. I have to go with the Jets. Jamison Crowder, I mean, he's not the best wide receiver out there. I wouldn't even put him top 15, but he's pretty much going to be the best wide receiver out there on the field tomorrow night. So we just have to see what happens with that situation. Pretty close. I might add, it's pretty close. I never had it this close before as far as judging the wide receiver room, but it's pretty close. As far as tight ends, also an interesting one. I decided to go with the Patriots for the tight ends. Now, this is rare. Usually, I would never go with the Patriots for tight ends. I believe that the Patriots have the worst tight end situation right now in the league. But according to the stats, Jets aren't doing pretty good at tight end either. Their leading tight end is Chris Herndon. I'm trying to say his name right, but I believe it's Chris Herndon. He only has 107 yards as far as receiving. Only 14 receptions. He's not having his best season. Isn't really looking good for him. Izzo is actually outdoing him in terms of receiving yards and in terms of just yards average, as far as catching, as far as receiving yards, average receiving yards. So, I mean, I never thought I would say this, but tight ends, I give the advantage to the Patriots. Now, that's probably not going to last longer than this week, but, I mean, let's just get it where we can. As far as the O-line situation goes, I touched on it a little bit earlier when I was talking about the running backs. Jets, for some reason, they just can't get right at the O-line. I know that, they went out and they drafted Mackay in the first round, and they're trying to develop their O-line, but it's going to take a little bit more. Not looking hot, especially at center. They have some holes on the offensive line, and that's just something that's not going to be fixed anytime soon, especially for this upcoming game. Now, the Patriots they're not peachy on the offensive line either. They have at least like 3 guys who are questionable coming into this game: Shaq Mason, Joe Tooney, and I believe Isaiah Wynn is also questionable. So that's 3 guys, your main starters, who are questionable coming into this game. But I believe that they're going to play. I don't think there's a chance that any of these guys sit out. Joe Tooney he's the only one that I am kind of shaky on, because it looked like he wasn't going to be able to, return, anytime soon. But I'm holding out hope that we have everybody out there, as far as, health-wise goes. I know the right tackle situation is still pretty shaky, but they decided to place Michael Onwenu out there at the right tackle position, and he seems to be serviceable. So if everything holds together, Patriots have the advantage going into this game. As far as linebacker goes, I decided to go with the New York Jets on this one. Hewitt just seems to be doing better in terms of production. Patriots have a lot of holes on the defense. Neville Hewitt has better production, pretty much more production than any of the linebackers that the Patriots have put together. Coming into this game, it is just dreadful. I mean, Calhoun is pretty much the Patriots' best option at linebacker, and he is questionable. So you're pretty much going into this game with all your rookies. And as much as people, are saying like, yes, play the rookie, play the rookies, play the rookie. I mean, we'll get a chance to see now. Besides Josh Uche, I don't really like this linebacker room. To be perfectly honest, besides Uche, he's the only promising thing as far as like looking into the future that I can say, okay, I feel comfortable with this. That linebacker room is in a serious need of a revamp. Um, Alfred Jennings, he's going to play. Cash Malua looks like he's probably going to get some starting time on that defensive line. Uh, from what I was able to dig up during the draft period when the Patriots brought in Cash Malua, it appears that his strength isn't, as far as like stop and run, that's not his strength, which is something that we need, but that's just not really his strength. His strength is in, as far as coverage goes. So that's where his strength lies is in. We actually could use some speed from the linebacker, from that linebacker spot in terms of like being able to keep up with a lot of these players and, provide some room and coverage. So maybe this could work out. Who's to say? Maybe this is actually a blessing in disguise that a lot of our linebackers just aren't going to be out there, and we're going to have to pretty much deal with the rookies being out there and playing majority of the snaps for the entire game. That's just the way it looks. It's looking like it has to go because Juwan Bentley, he's out for this game, so we pretty much have to just sit with what we got. But I'm giving the advantage to the New York Jets on this one. As far as defensive ends go, I decided to go with the Patriots on this end. Chase Winovich, for whatever reason, he's getting limited time out there on the field. I think that changes going into this game. I feel like he's going to get a little more time out there on the field, and he's going to be able to provide more on defense for this team. He pretty much leads the team in terms of sacks. The best option that they have at the defensive end position, you have John Simon also, but he's also questionable for this game, so not sure on his status. Looking over at the Jets side, just not a lot to go by. Not really a lot of production at all as far as that defensive end room goes. So I just felt it easier to give it to the Patriots on this end. As far as defensive tackle, Quentin Williams for the New England Jets. I really did like the pick. Somehow he just seems to be struggling a little bit with the Jets, and it's not surprising because I'm looking at where he is. I'm trying not to put too much hate on the Jets, but it's kind of hard when you see them bring in all these different players and some who are really good and still can't shine, most of the time based on where they are. But Quentin Williams, I wish the Patriots probably could have made a move on him because he's definitely going to be the best defensive tackle out there on the field. He leads all of them with 3 sacks, and out of everybody, including the Patriots, has the most sacks on that at that defensive tackle position. Going out there. So I decided to give it to the Jets, especially with Lawrence Guy, being the Patriots' main option to stop and run. He's going to be out for this game. So they have to lean on Adam Butler, Byron Coward, and Nick Thurman, of all people. And no disrespect to Nick Thurman. I just see him as a practice squad guy. I'm probably always going to see him as a practice squad guy unless he proves me wrong somehow. But that's just the way it looks to me. So looking at the defensive tackle position, I just decided to go ahead and give it to the Jets. As far as cornerback goes, now this is actually interesting. If there's a strength that the Jets have, it might be a cornerback. Now we have Pierre Desir, who leads the team with 3 interceptions. He has been pretty much their best playmaker as far as the secondary goes, excluding possibly Marcus May, their safety. But they've been doing pretty well at the cornerback position. They have about 5 interceptions in total as far as between the 2 quarterbacks, that being Desir and being Poole. They've done pretty well, I would say. Looking at, their record, you might say, hold on, but they have the numbers to back it up. Unfortunately, the Patriots might be a little bit better, even with Stephon Gilmore being out in this game. Now, J.C. Jackson has been, I mean, did the Patriots get lucky picking up J.C. Jackson? Undrafted rookie. I mean, not undrafted rookie, but he was an undrafted free agent 2 years ago. Came with the Patriots, proved what he had during training camp, proved himself in preseason. End up getting more time as far as like play time throughout the season. Eventually getting him a starting role. He's just been very, very, very serviceable for the Patriots. He also leads the league in terms of interceptions at 4. So in terms of like cornerbacks with interceptions, he pretty much leads the league with 4. He's nice. Okay. Also, you have Jonathan Jones out there. Jason McCourty, he seems to be pretty good. I didn't know if he still had it in him as far as like this season goes, but he's also been serviceable. So that cornerback room is still looking strong, even with Stephon Gilmore not being out there. As far as the safeties go, I also decided to give this to the Patriots because, like I said before, Marcus May has done a phenomenal job for them. He's pretty much, one of their core playmakers. He's out there all over the ball with his pass deflections, interceptions, forcing fumbles, tackles for losses, sacks, all of that. He pretty much does it all. It's just a shame that the rest of the safeties on the team don't contribute like that. Really nothing at all. I mean, you can go and look at the stats yourself. The safeties for the Jets, none of them are doing anything. Marcus May is pretty much the only guy out there who's providing something as far as like the safety position goes. He's pretty much having to do it all. Speaking of guys who tend to do it all, we have with the Patriots Adrian Phillips, who is the team's leading tackler. He also plays the safety position. Same thing with Marcus May. Interception, pass defended. Getting the players, tackles for losses. He's doing what he can. All over the ball, just being near the ball whenever he can. You also have Devin McCourty, who's still playing at a pretty high level considering his age. He's still playing at a nice level. He has 2 interceptions on the year. Terrence Brooks is coming along nicely. Not sure on Kyle Duggar's status, but hopefully he can. If he's not out, he can probably provide something for this game. Don't know if he's going to be inactive or not. We'll just have to see. But that's pretty much the safety situation for both of these teams. On one hand, you have a group of guys who are contributing. On the other hand, pretty much only one guy. So not too hard of a decision to make. As far as special teams goes, I also decided to go with the Patriots on this one. Reason being is anything that the Jets do as far as kickoffs, returns, kicking, punting, it all seems to be, done better with the Patriots. The numbers, they pretty much prove it. Not a lot of things that you can say that the Jets do well. There's specific players out there who contribute on defense, on offense, on special teams, but it's very few, and that illustrates why they're 0-8, why they're in the position they are. But I mean, hey, the Patriots can't say anything else because they're also in the same boat as far as just personnel not being there or not contributing. It just doesn't look well on both sides. But the Patriots are the least messy of the other team, so they come out on top in a lot of these categories where they probably wouldn't going against a stronger caliber team. As far as coaching goes, Adam Gase is Adam Gase, and I feel like that's pretty much all I got to say. I I'm not sure how long Adam Gase will have a job with the New York Jets. If he wins this game, somehow maybe they will consider keeping him around maybe a few more weeks. I just don't see him lasting too long with the Jets. That's pretty much all I got to say about that. But that's it. I mean, that's pretty much it what I have for this game. Look, if there's anything that you have to do, if you're not a Patriots fan or a Jets fan, you can probably just skip this game. You're not going to be missing much. I'm going to be watching, but pretty much because I have to. Let the tanking commence, I guess. I'm just kidding. But seriously, though, whatever the outcome is for this game, is only going to put the losing team in a better spot in terms of just, drafting. Patriots are already in the top 10 as far as, their draft position. So let's see. If the Patriots lose this game, then we pretty much just root for the rest of the season that they just keep losing until they have like a super high draft pick and they're able to get, possibly another cornerback. I mean, not cornerback, but quarterback, or maybe a decent wide receiver. But I mean, that's only if they lose this game. If they find a way to win this game, maybe we can cheer for them to, make some sort of a miraculous run. But that's where we're sitting at right now. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got for this. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Stay posted for more content. And leave some suggestions. I mean, I can go back to doing a couple reactions, whatever. I do read the comments, so yeah. Yeah, I pretty much don't have anything else to say. I'm out.